But it was many, many months ago. I can't even remember what month, to be honest, but it was probably like at least 6 months ago, somewhere around there. I was like really overwhelmed and stressed, just about everything, probably. Like work and just everything that life throws at you. And I get overwhelmed pretty easily. Like if the house is a mess, I have all these things going on. I have to volunteer here. I'm doing this, and then Carter's schedule, because my son's schedule is crazy. Like when I have all of these things going on, I tend to feel overwhelmed and like I don't have enough time to do things. But there's always time. Like God always makes time for everything to get done. But there was one day in particular that I didn't go to bed with you that night, and we always go to bed at the same time together, just our thing. Like I won't ever go to bed without him. But that night I think I was up, I told you I was up probably, but I was editing photos, because there are times where like I have to get these photos done, and so very few times I've not gone to bed with you. I think like I can count on one hand how many times I've stayed up just editing photos. But I'm editing photos and I'm so overwhelmed and I just feel like crying, so I start crying. And I remember getting this thought while I was crying and feeling overwhelmed, and you're all happy and asleep. Yeah, I was bugged with you because you just went to sleep, and I think I had even shared like how overwhelmed and stressed I was feeling, yada yada, to you or something. And you, I don't know, you probably said something like, "Oh, well, we'll get done, don't worry," and something like that. And then you go to bed, and then he just goes to bed. So when I was crying and feeling overwhelmed, I also prayed. But I remember thinking, if Chris was here, he would probably say this, or he would do this to make me feel better. And I never share that with you because, one, I think that's rude, comparing, because you can't compare two loves. It's different. How he would have handled something as opposed to how you handle something is totally different, and that's okay. And I think at that moment, because I even prayed to God that night. Sorry, I'm gonna cry. I didn't want to cry. I think I even asked him, like, hey, take this feeling away. I don't want to feel like this. I don't want to feel, how do I say this? I don't want to feel like, I have tissues somewhere, but it's okay. I'm comparing the two, or like one is better than the other, or I'm not getting what I need from one and that's here. I don't want to feel like that, because I know from my experience that that's not a thought that comes from God. That is a thought that is placed, from the enemy to make me feel a certain way so that I can distance myself from my husband. And I learned that in the early years with Chris, and so because I would have thoughts like that all the time, and you just have to like cast them down because they're not healthy thoughts. But I remember feeling that way and so overwhelmed that night that I just had to pray and like, take this away. I don't want to view Jeremy in a different way. I don't want to view him as he's not good enough, or he can't give me what I need, or I don't. And so I prayed that prayer, and then the next day I was fine, and I just kept moving forward. So these are the things that when you lose your spouse, that there are these triggers and these memories that sometimes will come up that I have to deal with, that I don't really tell you all the time because I don't think it's important. Because if it was really important, like if it was really affecting, if I didn't handle it, then I'd be like, hey, I'm struggling with this. Like, I need you to pray, or need you to help me to deal with this, because this is how I'm feeling right now. But I didn't feel like I needed to at that time, which is why I didn't bring it up until now, because it's on our topics. But